Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars, and today we are going to be looking at the Utah Slab bass kit from the Fretwire. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. Let's get started building the bass. So for strings, I am all about flat wounds these days, so got a set of Fender flats strung up on there. But what I really want to talk about is this bridge right here. Let me zoom in real quick. This bridge right here is hands down the best budget upgrade you can make for any bass. If you're familiar with bass bridges at all, you can see that this is a clone of the Fender Badass or the Hipshot Kickass, but this is not those. This is a little bit different. It's not only a top load design, as you can see, it's also a string through design, which you saw me drill the holes earlier in this video. But in addition to that, it's not only fully adjustable for intonation and string height to match the radius of your neck, but also it's adjustable for string spacing. You can see my outer strings I kind of pushed in just a little bit to get a little bit more narrow string spacing. This is a real lifesaver if you are building a cheap kit and maybe your bridge and neck alignment is not perfect, or maybe the pickup poles don't perfectly align with the strings. You can use these little fine adjustments to get everything laid out perfect. So absolutely awesome. What I love about this bridge specifically over the fender and hip shot designs is, one, it's not actually a high mass bridge. It's a lot lighter weight. I'm not a fan of high mass bridges. While they are great for sustain, it darkens the tone way too much. So because this is lighter weight, it still has a nice bright tone. And because it's a string through bridge, you still get all that sustain that you would normally get from a high mass bridge. The other thing that I like about it is the price. It's less than half the price of the fender and the hip shot. This thing will only set you back $20 on Amazon. One of these days, I'm gonna make a video on the best budget bass upgrades, and this is gonna be number 1 on that list. Number 2 being these Wilkinson tuners. Again, lightweight, excellent tuning adjustability, and cheap price. Not much more to say about those. All right, finally, we are getting to my favorite part of the build, the wiring and electronics. I told you guys that I already had a good set of jazz pickups on hand. These are vintage Bartolinis that I got on Reverb. They're from like the 70s or 80s. For the electronics, you got your standard volume, master tone. And then I have a couple of hacks on here. One being a series and parallel switch where I can run both pickups in parallel like a typical jazz bass, or in series like a Jaguar bass. And then this switch does something really cool. This is my solution to the Ricco sound. This is what I call Dano sound. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Rickenbacker requires 2 output jacks for their Ricco sound. So my switch uses the same jack, it just uses a stereo TRS jack. So if you're using a stereo TRS cable, when you engage the switch, you can externally bi-amp your neck and bridge pickups, which is super cool. Or for recording, it's really great to be able to record separate inputs for your neck and bridge. That way you can put separate EQs, separate layers of compression and effects on each pickup. Very cool, very useful feature. This switch also does something else. If you're running in series, then this switch adds as a blower switch, and it bypasses the signal past the volumes and tones and straight to the output jack. So you get the full strength signal, which is great because running these in series is going to be a lot warmer. And so bypassing the volume and tone, you'll get that full strength signal. You won't lose any top end on it. So very cool mod. If you're interested in doing any of these mods to your jazz bass or bass builds coming up, you can always buy a high quality wiring diagram of this bass on my website, gunsandguitars.net, for a whopping $5. And of course, if you support me on Patreon for any dollar amount, you get free access to all my wiring diagrams. So a couple things about this jazz bass. One, it definitely rekindled my love for Bartolini bass pickups. I think Bartolini makes some of the best sounding bass pickups. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. And two, I don't know why every jazz bass doesn't have these 2 mods on it, okay? Having the series switch, it really just gives a nice mid boost, like a growl sort of a tone. And then having the blower switch or bypass switch just adds almost like a little bit of a top end boost. So it's like having a mid boost and a top end boost, completely passive, no need for onboard batteries or anything. And then of course, if you're running in parallel, then your outputs are split for bi-amping, either externally or for recording your neck and bridge pickups independently. Just a super great feature. So I like my little Dano sound feature that I've added the blower switch mod into. I think that's super cool. I'm definitely be doing these mods on more basses. As for the finish, I told you guys I was on the fence about it, but I do really love this cool looking, you know, sort of a muted denim blue burst. I think it looks great with the matte black pickguard, matte black pickups, and chrome hardware. Now, this base, I think I have changed it enough, especially the headstock, to not infringe on any of Rickenbacker's copyrights. So I am gonna go ahead and list this one for sale, but it's close enough that I'm not gonna be making any more of these because I just don't wanna get any lawsuit trouble with Rickenbacker. So if you wanna buy this, buy it quick from my website, gunsandguitars.net. But other than that, like I said, I'm not gonna be making any more of these for sale. So this is really your only chance. Remember, if you wanna wire up your bass with these mods, you can get that wiring diagram at my website, or just support me on Patreon and you get free access to all my wiring diagrams. Till next time, I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. I'll see you in that next video.